The Legend of the Forger. Long ago, there was a continent called the Great Land. The land was ruled by two sister nations, Farron, the land of industrial metalworkers and great stone castles, and Dranau, the land of mysterious magic and brilliant innovation. For 14 generations, the two kingdoms ruled over the land of the elves, islanders, Shevrukin, nymphs, and trolls in peace. This all changed when Himedin, the 14th king of Drano, looked out over the land of Farron with covetous in his heart. He longed to possess the sister nation, but the military might of the two countries was too evenly matched. Even so, for 20 years, Himedin plotted and planned to no avail. Finally, he sent letters in secret to his advisors and generals of renown. He offered his palace's weight in gold in exchange for some chance to overtake Farron. Many prospective claimers came from the farthest ends of the kingdom, but none came with a reasonable proposal. The king opened his palace from the sun's first light until the sun marked high noon, entertaining all who were willing to offer their plans. For 5 years, these fortune seekers presented wild and ridiculous ideas to him, but none bore fruit. One cold winter night, Himedin declared to the full white moon, "If no one appears tomorrow, I will repent of this greed and make peace with Farron in my heart." When the king opened the doors the next day, no one came. The throngs of people had suddenly vanished. The sun crawled across the sky until it marked high noon. As Himedin approached his limit and prepared to repent of his avarice, a lone magician entered the courtroom. The cloaked man brought with him no gift for the ruler or men to protect him. None of the guards knew how this figure had managed to enter the king's most sacred throne room. The man's face was cloaked in the shadow of his hood, and his clothing smelled of the eastern sea. He claimed to have traveled the islands of the east, an impossible feat, and there claimed a magic that it could turn the tides of war in Himedin's favor. The magician would forever be known as the Seeker, for he sought out the islands of the east and lived. The Seeker had gained the power to make a man into a terrible monster, one that no weapon in Farron could defend against. Himedin agreed to have a man changed into this monster and called forth his strongest warrior, bloodthirsty and vile, and had the spell cast upon him. The man grew into a great leviathan with teeth that could bite through steel and claws that could tear through stone. His body was covered with iron scales, and from his back protruded two great wings that overshadowed his body. From beneath the scaly wings lashed out his long snake-like neck and tail. As a final weapon, the Seeker gave him a great fire in his lungs, that with his breath he might burn his foes to ash. Himedin called this creature a dragon, the Dranau word for hatred. The dragon took flight and rained down fire on the land of Farron. No wall could defend against its flight, no shield could protect from its claws, and no arrow could pierce its hide. The people of Farron hid in fear, watching the skies for the wings of the terrible foe. To the far north, the Farron king Adril called his conciliate, and they created a plan to slay the mighty beast. Adril called forth the land's greatest forger and had the mines of the north stripped of their magic ore. Taking hammer in hand, the forger crafted the blade, Escalon, named after the Farron spirit of vengeance. The blade was gifted to Adril's finest knight, who set out to battle the dragon. The dragon and the knight met on the plains of Helm. For 3 days, the two struggled against one another. Finally, on the third day, when the dragon could no longer fly, the knight slew the beast. The warrior presented the dragon's skull to the Farron king, whose descendants still possess it to this day. However, on the day of the battle at the plains of Helm, where man and beast struggled with all the might of the magics of Farron and Dranau, though no one knows how, fate itself became intertwined. The fates of the forger, the seeker, the knight, and the dragon became tied together. Upon the death of both the forger and the seeker and their warriors, they would all be born again to do battle once more for their kingdoms. In the following generation, the forger and the seeker returned, born into obscurity amongst the citizens of their respective nations. They bore all of their skills, but none of their memories. Each revealed on their 18th birthday, they were sent by their nations to find the reincarnations of their warriors, the forger of Ferrin to his knight, and the seeker of Janau to his dragon. But the magic ran deeper still. In this generation, the seeker created a new beast, the Kraken. Thus, the forger crafted a new weapon, Batu, and gave it to the hunter. These two joined in the spell that bound the forger and the seeker and were reborn. On and on their battle continued. In each generation, the seeker created a new beast, and the forger created a new weapon and chose a new weapon master to battle against it. Thus, their journeys became more widespread as the two scoured the far reaches of their countries for their reincarnated warriors. The titles of the forger's weapon masters are kept here, forever sealed in this analog for the first 8 generations. The first forger created the knight, the second, the hunter, the third, the thief, the fourth, the behemoth, the fifth, the assassin, the sixth, the performer, the seventh, the strategist, the eighth, the professor. Now a fear grips the people of Ferrin. They worry the battle of the forger and the seeker will devour all the great land as more and more warriors are reborn. But fear not, for it is said that upon the dawn of the 9th forger the war will end, for he will be the one to untwine fate. But one wonders how. For how could anyone born the night be anything but a warrior? And how could anyone born the dragon be anything but a monster?